I think my purpose has changed a little bit as well, as far as instead of receiving and getting a lot of stuff, like how can I give to the world?
Wow.
And so
that's interesting.
Yeah, and it makes I don't know, it makes life so much better because okay, so I'm gonna let you in on my mission statement.
Let me hear it.
So my mission statement is, let me get it in my peak state. It is.
What's your move? Show me your move.
My move, it's kind of funny. My brother makes fun of me all the time. It goes, yes. So
like jazz hands?
Yes.
I like it. Jazz hands.
Yes, yeah, that's my move. So the purpose of my life is to be an infectious light of love and joy, to celebrate the little things, and to inspire others to embrace their true essence. So, and that last part,
inspire others to be their true essence.
To embrace their true essence.
To embrace your true essence.
And like to find that, because I think that I had to find that in the last couple of years, and we get so caught up in what we need to do and what we need to get and all those things that like we forget like the 10-year-old self and like why we want to do it, and because it's fun, right? And so to inspire somebody else to like break down those like layers of what they've just done to survive, it's like let's break those down, you know. And I want to be that kind of person to help people or to inspire people. That's to cool. Like find that part.
Well, I'm glad you shared your mission statement because I want to share with you mine and I'm going to ask you a question about it. So my mission is to teach 100 million people to show them how to make a full-time living doing what they love.
Wow.
Because I believe if everyone is making a full-time living, it doesn't have to be millions, but enough to live and have a good life.
Yeah.
Doing the things that you're most passionate about, that's going to cause, you're going to heal yourself so much from so much pain.
Yeah.
And disease is going to be gone, relationships are going to be better if people are doing what they love.
Yeah.
And they feel like what they do is matters.
I agree.
They're making money for what matters. So,
I agree.
How important is it to be clear on a mission and to have a mission statement like you just said and like I have?
Yeah, I think it's really important because I never had one before and I always thought like, oh, I want this, I want that, but I never
didn't know why.
I didn't know why. And then I figured out why, and then I said yes, and I figured out why, and I have direction now, and I have clarity, and like what's important is important, and what's not important is not important.
Wow.
And I used to there was no filter before. Everything just kind of blended and mixed, and I felt kind of lost. But I was like, I'm not lost. I'm good. I know what I'm doing, but I was lost completely because I'm like, well, yeah, I think I'm supposed to be doing this. I think but having that direction, you do have a purpose.
Yeah.
And then every day, it's not a battle or pressure to live up to it. It just kind of somehow happens because when you believe it and you think it and you say it, like you just end up doing it.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah.
That's cool. And I think, when I was like a teenager, I didn't have a mission statement of like what I'm going to do in my life. I think when you're younger, it's just trying to like figure out how to get to the next grade or get to college or whatever it is. And for me, it was like, will a girl like me? You know, can I get a girlfriend? That was like my mission, right?
Most kids
so I think it depends on where you're at in your life, and your mission can evolve and change.
Definitely. As
the seasons change, as new relationships, new things happen. But I think it's invaluable to have something no matter where you're at.
I agree. And even if it's something that you don't necessarily believe fully, but you want, I think that's always really good to even have that, because that, again, it gives you a reason and a purpose and a meaning behind it. Whereas like there were things that I would tell myself that I wasn't fully living, but I wanted to be, and so I would tell myself those things, and then I ended up becoming that.
Yeah.
You know, and like I used to say that, like I remember going in for my Footloose audition, and
they didn't just give it to you?
No, I went in and auditioned multiple amount of times, and when I went in, I was so insecure and I was so worried that I wasn't going to get this, that I could have done that and I would have shown that. Or I went into the bathroom and I was like, I'm fucking awesome. I was like, I am so good. I'm so going to get this. I'm awesome. Yeah, like I deserve this. I'm going to do this. I did not believe that at all.
Wow.
But I told myself in the mirror, I tricked myself into thinking it, and I got it.
Wow.
And like I've done that a lot in my life.
Yeah, because your energy doesn't lie.
Yeah.
If you show up nervous because you're thinking that constantly, it's going to come across very easily.
Yeah, completely.
I'm the fucking shit.
I am. Yeah, and it's like, and I've done that in like a lot of my auditions, or when I'm feeling like, then I'm like, wait, and this is actually pre-Tony, so like I felt like I kind of did it anyway.
You're pumping yourself up, yeah.
But I would pump myself up, and I would say things that even though I didn't believe it, like I would just say it, and then after I would be finished, I'd be like, thank goodness I told myself that, you know.
Now, do you practice visualization a lot? Do you like visualize what you want and think about it constantly, or put it on a wall, like images or any type of visualization?
When I was a kid, I definitely did. And I had like, by the time I'm 16, I'm gonna do this. By the time I'm 19, I'm gonna do this and this and this. And literally it was like, by the time I'm 19, I wanna be a singer. And that's when I released my first record. Wow. When I was 21, I wanted to star in my own movie, and that was Footloose. Wow. And you know, and like there were certain things along the way that happened, and they would come to fruition. Like it was crazy. And then I stopped doing that because I achieved all those things, and I didn't have any of those. And I realized I made those up when I was a kid.
Wow. And
I was like, I need to be a kid again and make up some new ones.
Some big dreams.
Some big dreams.
Yeah.
You know, and like I forgot that I did that, but they kept coming true. And so I do now, but I didn't have any past 21. And so I was like, oh, I need to get some dreams, you know, and like really visualize like when and how and where and like the picture of what I want.
What's the process of this? Do you just map it up in your mind? Do you draw it out? Do you write it down? How do you?
I map it out in my mind because I am very visual. So like I just see it. But then, I mean, is there
something you tell yourself, or is there like?
It's silly, but like every time an eyelash falls and I make a wish, or like every time it's 11:11, or like I think about those things, and I like wish for it, and I think about it, and I know it sounds silly and like it's not magic, you know, it's just, but it is. It's like it's a reminder, like those little funny wish things. But like I'll always think about those things.
I think it's brilliant because if you're not reminded to think about them, it's never going to happen. Yeah. It's not just going to fall in your lap. You're not going to get the role of the next movie you want because you just showed up and it just fell in your lap. Yeah. You've got to set the intention every day.
Completely.
Multiple times probably.
Yeah.
For years.
Well, and it's so funny now that you say that, because even like my family has this weird thing where we always see either 11:11 or 2:11 or something 11.
Same time, or?
And we'll always text, be like 2:11, and like 10 will come in.
You text like the photo of it? Do you screenshot
it? Totally. And it's like, the more you think about it, the more you're gonna see it, right? Yeah. And it's like before, I never would have even noticed that. But we see it all the time now. We'll go and like, we'll see a license plate that has it, or like we'll go to the grocery store and our change will be something 11. And it's like, because you're focused on that, like that's what you see and that's what you get. And so I feel like that's the same thing in life, like whether it's a dream that you have or if it's an idea that you have, the more you think about it, the more you focus on that, the more it's gonna keep coming up.
And then the other side of things, the more you focus on stress
and the negative
and drama and whatever else, anger and frustration and resentment, the more you're gonna be frustrated and resentful.
Completely. Absolutely.
Tell me about your brother. How much of a support has he been along this entire process, from London to Dancing with the Stars to movies and singing? How big of a support has he been?
Oh, huge support. And I think, you know, I think in even just the last few years, he's been incredible because, you know, when you're kids, we're brother and sister. So like,
you're like annoying.
Yeah. And like, we never really were that like annoying brother and sister with each other, but we were just kind of like, well, yeah, like we're brother and sister. We look out for each other, you know? Like it was always that kind of good thing. But I think in the last few years, as we've grown up and we've had life experiences happen, like relationships and breakups and, you know, we're now really working together. I mean, trust me, I've learned a lot about my brother.
You're like a tour bus going everywhere,
I mean, we are emerged
You're staying with him right now, or
It's a lot. But, you know, I used to hold my brother on such a pedestal, and I think he did the same thing for me.
Really?
And we're like, okay, we are human. And we've seen a lot of each other's faults now, and like our weaknesses and stuff like that. And I think it's hard because we even put our parents on a pedestal. It's all this stuff, and then you see something and that disappoints you, and you're like, well, wait, you're supposed to be this person, and then you're like, well, no, they're human. And like, anyway, so my brother and I have been really, really a huge support for each other in the last few years, because there have been life experiences. We have been immersed in each other's lives, and there's things that, if we didn't want to work to have our relationship, we could have split us apart, or and so I think that he was the one that introduced me to going to that seminar that changed my life, and every day we send each other these really cool little messages with all my sisters on the chain, and my brother will always send these really cool inspirational things, and just keeping us, I don't know, feeling good. So he's our brother. He's the only boy in the family. So he's like we love him. Yeah, he's like our little brother, even though he's my big brother, but he's like my little brother.
Sure, that's very cool.
Yeah.
What was the biggest lesson you learned while being a dancer on Dance with the Stars? Yeah. What's the biggest thing that opened up for you?
Patience, for sure, because you have to be sort of selfless when you're on that show, because it's not about you. And
it's about the celebrity.
It's about the celebrity, yeah. It's about the celebrity.
Teaching constantly, right?
Teaching them, watching them grow. But it's very rewarding. And I think I didn't really understand that until recently, that the reason why it was really fun to be selfless is the reward that you would get to watch somebody grow in front of your eyes, and physically, dancing wise, but then emotionally too, and seeing them come out of their shell and feeling confident and sexy. That was obviously Apollo coming out and feeling sexy. but that fulfillment on the other side, it's okay that it's not about me, because it's, being
in service, giving. Yeah,
giving, and being able to have a task, and you have to fulfill it, and you have to achieve that. Otherwise, you're not going to be prepared, and you're going to look silly. So I loved that. It taught me discipline, for sure. I mean, I was taught that in England as well, but it taught me discipline. It taught me how to commit to something, and that I can't flake. I have to be there. I have to be reliable.
And be prepared.
Yeah. So I loved it.
Right. That's cool. And now you're judging.
Yeah.
Now tell me, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned being a judge, being on the other side?
Yeah. Biggest lesson that I've learned being a judge is that
after you've been judged for so long,
that you want to give critiques, but with an encouragement behind it. Because I think that there's been times where you just kind of say what you think, and then you run out of time, and you're not allowed to say what you want to say for the encouraging part. So you have to, for me...
You're I'm sorry.
I know. And so it's really making sure that whenever I say what I have to say, there's always something that is a good part to it, that I can always see something good in whatever that is. But I also am not just going to say, oh, that was great, because that's not helping them. That's just keeping them where they're at. So I want to be able to give some, criticism that helps them get better for the next week. So I don't know. It's about being authentic, but with a thought of encouragement.
With the exposure to ballroom dance with Dancing with the Stars, and more shows and all these dance shows coming out, and I feel like more and more parents putting their kids in dance, especially in the U.S. I don't know about around the world.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to either parents or kids at a young age about ballroom dance, specifically going into it, knowing what you've been through?
Yeah, I think that it's a really difficult question, because I went through a lot of stuff that was pretty difficult, and I've spoken out about it, but there were times where I felt completely alone, and nobody understands me, and the overly sexualized type thing. But I didn't understand that as a kid until now I'm an adult, and I can look back and understand what it was. But those things made me a really great dancer.
Yeah.
So
made you driven and
extremely driven, made me really passionate, made me a fighter, made me strong, and all of those things. So it's hard because I'm like, I would never take it back.
Yeah.
Because this is why I'm here. But it's I would never want anybody else to go through some of this stuff, you know? So, so for my advice for young kids, I think it's an incredible sport where you learn how to interact with a girl or a guy, I think, which is maybe a good thing and a bad thing.
Sure.
But I think, you know, like the gentlemanly like feeling of taking care of a woman, I think is really
and escorting.
Yeah, is very prominent in that world. And you know, being a female dancer definitely brings out the sensual sides, but it's being able to balance that and being able to, like, that's what I do, but that's not who I am kind of thing. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, hey, I'm a huge fan of dancers, and there's all sorts of dancers.
Dancers are amazing.
They're really incredible. And it's so much about the emotion that, like, oh man, it, like, when I dance, I mean, really, there's nothing greater than what I feel, and I'm so immersed and I'm present. It's the one time that I really truly feel present. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not really answering this question at all. I would just say, like, you know, give it your all, and never forget why you wanted to do it. Because when you lose sight of that, then, like, what's the point? You know, why are you doing it? So just to keep doing it for the fun and the right reasons. So
that's good. Good answer. If you want more greatness in your life, then you got to check out this video right here.
Want to, like, reach my hand out and give women who may never have access to this kind of information because of where they live or their family structure, these simple tools to elevate their lives